how you're going to pass that exam. You're going to prep with Agent Prep and wow, Lillie Handy. So let's get to it. If any of you are watching from Facebook, remember to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard permission to post your Facebook name on here and anywhere else this goes live. All right. So let me show you what we're doing today. So we're starting a new book on the national exam questions. And we're using this book also for the state. So awesome book. It has 4 tests and it shows down here 500 practice questions, okay, in the 4 tests for national, which applies to all 50 states, and then also for Texas state. So I've been researching for books for other states. Right now, this is what I've got, national and Texas state. Okay, so let's get going here. We're going to be going a little bit faster today than normal. So remember to type your answer on the chat and the letter number and the number and the letter answer. All right, when applying for a loan, what is a fixed rate? A loan that has a predetermined repayment interest rate. B, a loan whose interest rates do not change throughout the life of the loan. C, a loan that accrues no interest. Or D, a loan that pays off the interest before the principal. So think about this. What is interest rates? How do they apply to a loan? Type your answer in the chat, and we're going to get moving just a little bit quicker. So the answer here is A. When applying for a loan, what is a fixed rate? A loan that has a predetermined repayment interest rate that is amortized for however long the loan is for. Okay, it could be for 15 years, 30 years, 10 years. It depends on the length of the loan, but it'll be amortized at that fixed rate for the number of years. So it's compared normally to a floating rate, which is a loan that uses external factors as a benchmark for interest rates and is usually fluctuating based on the external market. Every state has a different interest rate. Not a big difference, but they do vary. Good afternoon, Rachel. All right, number 2. So that was 1A. Okay, number 2. So you picked B, a loan which interest rate does not change throughout the life of the loan. That is a fixed rate. Okay, it doesn't change through the life of the loan. However, the best answer that they find is a loan that has a predetermined repayment interest rate. That is the best answer. Number 2, what act prohibits discrimination based on race or color? A, Fair Housing Act. B, Civil Rights Act of 1866. C, Civil Rights Act of 1964. Or D, Civil Rights Act Amendment 1974. So type your answer in the chat because we're going to move a little bit faster today. Want to cover more questions for you. So when did the prohibition of based on race or color began? Hi, Lisbeth. Actually, it began in 1866. Okay, when the prohibition of blacks or race was administered. Okay, so it is B, Civil Rights Act of 1866. So this particular act declares all citizens equal and under the protection of the law. The law emphasized protecting all classes of African descent during the Civil War. Number 3. So what is the financial document that contains a written promise to fulfill a certain payment? What is the financial document that contains a written promise to fulfill a certain payment? Type your answer in the chat. A, invoice. B, promissory note. C, pro forma statement. Or D, an IOU. So look at what the question says, okay? Financial document that contains a written promise. The answer here is 3B, a promissory note. And a promissory note is not recorded. Only the warranty deed and the deed of trust in the state of Texas or other states, mortgages are used on central to eastern states, and central to western states is usually a deed of trust. So this is a financial document by the issuer to the payee, right? That's the borrower, that contains a promise to make payment for a definite sum of money. So it is usually valid for payment either on demand or on a specific date. It usually contains information regarding the principal amount, the interest rate, the date and place of issuance, maturity date. In other words, is it a 15 or 30-year loan, and the signature of the parties involved. So it takes a lot into account. Number 4. What is the term used to describe the act of replacing an existing mortgage with another? So you've got one mortgage and you want to replace it with another mortgage. What is that called? A, refinancing. B, defaulting. C, foreclosure. Or D, reinvesting. Think about it and see if you've ever had a loan or ever bought a home. What do? When you replace one mortgage by another or a deed of trust by another? That is correct. 4A, a refinance. I have to type the answer for this. And number 4. Awesome. Very good. Oh, gosh. Sorry about that. I muted my phone, but I'm projecting my phone to the computer. Ha! We're on number 5, and that didn't work. Okay, number 5. That's not exactly what I wanted. Okay, there we go. Number 5. Which is not an appurtenant right? Which is not an appurtenant right? A, furnace. B, swimming pool. C, air conditioning. Or D, all of the above. So here, all of these are definitions, right? So that's how important definitions are. What is an appurtenant? Okay, it's an attachment. It's included with the property. It goes with the property. So A, furnace, B, swimming pool, C, air conditioning, or D, all of the above. The answer here is 5B, all of the above. The furnace is part of the house. If it's sunken or above, ground, and it's kind of made permanent, that's an appurtenant, and so is the air conditioning. So number 5 is D. Awesome. Right, so what is an appurtenant? It is a real property fixed to the land that passes along with the sale of the home. It moves with the land, right? Moves with the property. Like Joe Juder from Prep Agent says, move. Cows move. Property that stays with the home moves with the home. All right, number 6. By the way, I really respect Joe Juder on Prep Agent. He's another YouTube channel that you should watch. Hi, Cindy. Thank you for joining us. We're doing national questions that applies to all 50 states. Number 6, what is the name given to the banking option that allows a customer to deposit a specified amount for a predetermined period of time? A, certificate of application, B, certificate of deposit, C, investment clause, or D, mortgage. So the name given to the banking option that allows a customer to deposit money, kind of like an investment, for a specified amount for a predetermined period of time. Okay, it's not D. So take another chance on that. So the answer here is a certificate of deposit. When the interest rates in the bank are really low, then individuals will put money into certificates of deposit, which are called CDs, in order to make a little bit more money on the money that is in the bank. Okay, number 7. If a seller nets $225,000 after paying, so net, right? That's after all expenses. After paying a 10% fee, what was the total he received? So seller nets $225,000 after paying 10%. What was the total he received, he or she received? A, $2,002,500, B, $224,990, C, $250, or D, none of the above. So what would you do here? You could use the T formula, or you're multiplying 10% by 225, and then you subtract it, or 225,000 times 90. No, it is not A. Wait a minute. So it says, if the seller nets 225 after paying a 10% fee. So the gross was larger than the net, right? So in the T formula, you have on the top the part, and then you have the whole on the bottom and the percentage. So we're looking for the part, which is on top. So the percentage that will equal what the gross was is going to be 225. Okay, that's the part. We're looking for the whole. 225 divided by 0.9. So the amount has to be greater than 225. Okay, y'all, because pay attention to this. Seller is netting 225. So that means they paid 10% fees. So what was the original price? The original price was $250. So he received an offer for $250 and paid a 10% fee, maybe 10% commission, and nets $225. So it is 225. Oops. So I'm going to type it in the answer box. 225, okay, divided by, oh, where's my divided sign? By 0.9 equals 250. So this is where you would utilize the T formula. And if you're not familiar with what the T formula, after class, go look it up, okay? It has the part on top, the whole, which kind of like a whole pie, 100%, and then the percentage, which it's also called the rate. So this was the answer. 225 divided by 0.9. So it's 100% minus 10%, okay, divided into 225,000. Because the 225,000 is 100 minus 10. So his initial, the seller's initial amount of money was greater than 225. So 0.9, because everything, it comes into 100%. Okay, 100%. Let me see. Do I have a whiteboard in here? Tools, options. I don't think I have a whiteboard in here. Nope. Okay, so you have 100%. What he had before he sold it was 100%. And he paid 10% fee. So 100 minus 10 is 90. Convert that to a percentage, it is 0.9. So 0.9 divided into 225, according to the T formula, gives us 250. Okay, so Lizbeth was asking why. So let me see if I can show you. Well, the formula does the same thing. Okay, so here's the formula. The T formula, 225. Let me see here. This is the screen from my phone. So 225 divided by 1, which is equivalent to 100%, minus 0.1, which is equivalent to 10%. So that is 90%, which is 0.9. 225 divided by 0.9 gives us 250. And you got to see the answer for the next question. Got it? Number 8. Oh, that didn't work. This is going to end up a little bit small. Okay, number 8. Oh, can't see it there. What is the name given to the rate earned for borrowing or an investment per year? What is the name given to the rate earned interest, okay, to borrowing or an investment per year? A rate lock, B, fixed rate, C, floating rate, or D, annual percentage rate? The name given to the rate earned for borrowing money. So you're going to borrow money or for an investment per year. So what is the yearly rate? And yes, the answer is 8D, annual percentage rate. So that is the annual rate charged. So the annual percentage rate is usually a little bit higher than just the interest rate of the loan, because the annual percentage rate usually expressed as the actual annual cost of funds over the lifespan of a loan or cash investment. And a loan has also costs that comes along with it. So some of those costs are added to it, and then it's amortized for the whole year. That becomes the annual percentage rate, which is typically a little bit higher than the interest rate. Okay, number 9. Number 9. Other than buying a home using traditional channels, what other methods can a prospective owner use to buy a home? A, public auctions, B, tender, C, lease, or D, escalation clause. Other than buying a home, the traditional channels, okay, that's getting a mortgage and buying it that way, what other methods can a prospective owner use to buy a home? A, public auction, B, tender, C, lease, or D, escalation clause. We're going to be experiencing some of these since the forbearance went away due to COVID. And yes, the answer is A, public auction. Very good. So homes are usually put in an auction due to a default on a mortgage or property taxes. So a lender can put it in an auction, or whoever ended up foreclosing on it can also put it on the courthouse steps, right? And that's foreclosed. So buying a house at an auction is risky, as it often does not give the buyer a chance to view the interior of the house. Banks will do this. And so they're like, you're just going to make an offer sight unseen. So when buying a property like this, it is necessary to run background checks, research on the property, ask a title company to do a title search, or go to the courthouse and check for all the liens or anything that is attached to it. So it was public auction. Number 10. What is the reviewing of a borrower's credit worthiness prior to loan approval? A, buy down, B, pre-qualification, C, credit score, or D, underqualification? What is the reviewing of borrower's credit worthiness prior to a loan approval? Hey, you all are on the ball here. Awesome. So maybe it's good when I go a little bit faster. Type your answer in the chat. There's quite a few on you here. So anybody who just came on, we are doing national questions that applies to all 50 states. That is correct. A pre-qualification. So this is typically done by a lender over the phone. They'll ask questions about, what their credit score is, any loans or debts that they have, and their income. Now, to get a pre-approval, then they have to submit the application, run the credit, and submit their income tax returns. So that is a more solid approval versus just a qualification. Number 11. What is the document that is used to transfer legal rights to act in the interest of a person? What is the legal document that is used to transfer legal rights from one owner to another? D, disclosure form, B, power of attorney, C, pro forma statement, or D, deed? So what is the document that is used to transfer the legal rights to act in the interest of a person? Okay, so one person acts on behalf of another. It's not necessarily the document that's conveying the property. It's someone is giving somebody else the right to act on their behalf. So what is that called? It is not D, which transferring the property from one person to another is that, but that's not what I meant. I may have said it wrong. The answer is power of attorney, a POA. Okay, power of attorney. That's when one person transfers their legal rights to act in the interest of a person. So they're acting on behalf of another person. They're not transferring ownership, okay? They just need somebody else to do the documentation, signing, negotiating, and they may do it just for that particular property. One item. Number 12. Let's see, did I show the answer? What type of listing only guarantees commission for a sale within a specified period? So what type of listing only guarantees commission for a sale within a specified period? A, exclusive listing. B, net listing. C, single agency listing. Or D, multiple agency listing. So guarantees commission for the sale within a certain time frame, right? Start and end date. Type the answer for that one. Yes, the answer is 12A, an exclusive listing. An exclusive listing. Okay, so in an exclusive listing, the seller could bring the buyer, okay, and not have to pay commission. So the real listing is called exclusive right to sell, and it guarantees the broker a commission whether the owner or the broker procure the offer, the buyer. Okay, so any type of listing that's written is called an exclusive listing. Well, not an open listing, okay, pocket listing, which they're called. But if we want to specify something stricter, then we have an exclusive listing or exclusive right to sell. Can't see it on there, so. All right, number 13. What type of brokerage mandates that the broker acts in the best interest of the buyer? A, single agency. B, dual agency. C, multiple agency. Or D, full service. What type of brokerage mandates that the broker acts in the best interest of the buyer? So representing a buyer, okay? So basically, what type of agency? It is not D, full service, okay? So it's either A, B, or C. And since these are national questions, it could be, dual, multiple, right? But it says type of broker mandates that the broker acts in the best interest of the buyer. So they're only dealing with one side. So yes, those of you that answered so far, the answer is A, single agency. Number 14. What is the name of a transaction where both the buyer and seller are seeking the best deal? Name of the transaction where both the buyer and seller are seeking the best deal. A, real estate transaction. B, a credit transaction. C, an arm's length transaction. Or D, debited transaction. Type your answer in the chat. Well, it is a real estate transaction, but go deeper, okay? It is deeper than that. The answer is actually arm's length transaction. Okay, so let me bring this on here. Let's see, can I make it larger? Yeah, so arm's length transaction. So the answer says this is a transaction where both the buyer and the seller are acting in self-interest with the aim of getting the better deal. The discrepancy is usually solved when both parties agree on a middle ground that fulfills the interest of both the buyer and the seller. So it's at arm's length. They aren't buying it for somebody else without disclosing it, or at an auction with the intent of buying it for somebody that lost. They're acting in self-interest, in their own interest. The buyer's buying for themselves. The seller is selling their own property. And they want to come to a good deal, to a mutual agreement, a meeting of the minds. Okay? Okay, number 15. You've never heard, Malik Everett says he's never heard of arm's length. Yes, it does exist. Go ahead and look at your vocabulary, okay? So maybe you haven't studied your vocabulary enough, but it should be in there. If not, Google it and find out what arm's length means. That means they're doing it for themselves, not in the interest of someone else, and not disclosing it. And it's not a relative buying it for another relative, okay, and without disclosing it. So arm's length means they're on their own, okay, in their own self-interest. Thank you for asking. What is the name given to modification of billing calculation dates? A, modified date. B, closing date. C, opening date. Or D, adjustment date. What is the name given to modification of billing calculation dates? Modification of billing calculation dates. So let's say you have a credit card and you paid it early. So they have to adjust something. They have to modify something. Or is it a closing or opening? It is not modified date. They're typically modifying a value. And it is the adjustment date. They're modifying a date. So what is the name given to modification of billing calculation dates? And someone could ask, hey, I want to have a different date. And so the lender or the credit card can create an adjusted date. So the answer says, this is sorry, that's not it. It's adjustment date. This is the changing of a date where calculation or items such as property taxes, rent, and damaged properties are done. And that's also where property taxes are prorated at closing. Okay, so that's it for national questions. We are now moving into state questions, continuing So the book that we use today, okay, that we're using for both national and state is this practice test for Texas. It was published this year, and it had, even though it says Texas real estate exam, it has national questions. Almost every study prep book has national questions. Okay, keep that in mind when you're attending my class. All right, so then we are now going to, let's see here. We're going to test number 3. We're on test number 3 for the state questions. And hold on, we're on question number. Test number 3, question number 11. Let's see if this will work. So bear with me for a moment. I'm going to take a sip of water. Well. Something is not letting me. Okay, hold on here. Just bear with me a moment, because I didn't have my screen set up. So we're on test number 3 for the state. All right. So anybody who just came in, we are now doing state questions for Texas. So, hey, just a reminder here, if you're on YouTube or you haven't been to my YouTube channel, YouTube Agent Prep, I ask you to go to YouTube Agent Prep, click that thumbs up, letting me know that you like this and you're learning from it, and subscribe to my channel, okay? Tap that subscribe button and click that little bell so that you're the first to get notified every time I go live or post a new video. Okay, number 11. Hi, Joshua. Tomorrow, hey, Joshua says tomorrow is his exam. Awesome. He's taking the Texas. He already passed national. All right, good luck. Let us know. Number 11, Texas state questions. What kind of obsolescence occurs when there is a loss in value due to functional inadequacies of an improvement? A, economic obsolescence. B, technology obsolescence. C, functional obsolescence. Or D, legal obsolescence. So it kind of gave you a hint. Right? It said value, there's a loss in value due to functional inadequacies, meaning, other properties in the area change, have more bedrooms, more baths. And yes, the answer is functional obsolescence. Oh, I forgot to type number 15 on national. I'm doing that on the Facebook page. Okay, so you're going to see 15D, but that's, but here on the state, we're dealing with question 11. All right. Number 12. Which, darn it, I had it and I lost it there. Which form is required by Texas law and provides notices regarding brokerage services to prospective buyers, sellers, tenants, and landlords? A, information about brokerage services form. D, disclosure and statutory information form. C, TREC, brokerage transparency form. Or D, consumer protection form. So which one provides notice regarding brokerage services to buyers, sellers, tenants, and landlords? Yes, very good. It is information about brokerage services, which is called IABS. Know that acronym. IABS. So let's see, we started with 11, 15. So we'll stop at 26. Okay, number 13. Which of the following cannot be subpoenaed by TREC, Texas Real Estate Commission? A, books. B, personal real property information. C, witnesses. Or D, records. They cannot be subpoenaed by TREC. Hi, Yesenia. Thanks for joining us. And that is correct. It is personal real property information. So books, witnesses, and records can be subpoenaed by TREC if the licensee does not produce the above. TREC can file a suit with the AG. Oop, that didn't work. Oh, wow. 14 is a long one. Okay. It's going to be kind of small. Wow. Number 14. So did I type the answer? Ooh, no. Okay. So 13 was B. All right. Personal real property information. All right. Number 14. Which of the following is true about a suspended real estate license? A suspended license cannot be reactivated until the licensee retakes the initial examination. B, a person can get back their license when they pay back the money the recovery trust account paid out for claims against them. C, a license cannot be suspended, only revoked. Or D, the licensee will be a probationary period for 5 years. Which of the following is true about a suspended real estate license? No takers here. The answer is B. A suspended license cannot be I'm sorry. I'm saying B and reading A. A person can get back their license when they pay back the money the recovery trust fund or trust fund account paid out for claims against them, right? The recovery trust account is not for paying realtor's debt and a claim that's reported to them to TREC. It's for the claims against them made by the person who complains. Very good. Awesome. Number 15. Okay, I'm going to show my face every now and then. So what are the TREC canons of professional ethics and conduct? What are the TREC canons of professional ethics and conduct? A list of 4 rules adopted by TREC in the 1970s. B, a list of state laws regarding real estate transactions passed in the 1990s. C, a list of 5 standards for real estate licensees adopted by TREC. Or D, disciplinary action that can be enforced by TREC. An interesting one, right? So what are the TREC's canons of professional ethics and conduct? And yes, the answer is C, a list of 5 standards for real estate licensees adopted by TREC. So these canons of ethics that must be followed by real estate licensees, these canons were adopted by TREC in the 1970s and 1990s. So that's why A or B were not correct, because it includes both years. Number 16. Oh. Okay, right there. The TREC Consumer Information Form 1-1 applies to blank. A, real estate licensees. B, appraisers. C, inspectors. Both A and C. Oh, D, both A and C. Type your answer in the chat. Let's move right along. The answer here is D. Very good, Lisbeth. Both A and C, real estate licensees and inspectors. Okay, because that's who TREC licenses, not appraisers. Make sure you get appraisers out of your mind when it comes to TREC licensing. Well, A is correct, but it's not the most accurate because TREC also includes inspectors. TREC licenses inspectors. And so that 1-1 applies to both real estate licensees and inspectors. Okay, number 17. Property under the homestead exemption is not protected from foreclosure or certain debts. It is protected from what? A, forced sale. B, unpaid property taxes. C, unpaid paid due child support. Or D, missed mortgage payments. So what does homestead protect the owners that live in the property? It has to be owner-occupied property. So property under the homestead exemption is not protected from foreclosure or certain debts. It is protected from it is protected from A, forced sale. Okay, so the homestead exemption protects from forced sales to satisfy creditors like credit cards, payday lenders, and debt collectors. You know, those little places where you go and borrow money for 35% interest or something. It does not protect from defaulted second liens, from home equities, from property taxes, nor mortgage payments, nor government student loans. So a lien can be put on properties for that. So a forced sale, and that's from creditors like credit cards or other loan places. Number 18. Which of the following conditions must a licensed inspector report because they are deemed as deficient? Which of the following conditions must a licensed inspector, right? They're licensed by TREC, report because they are deemed as deficient? A, an unlicensed property addition. B, improperly installed, malfunction, or missing grant fault circuit protection devices for garages, bathrooms, and other exterior areas. C, improperly installed appliances and safety devices. D, both B and C. So type your answer in the chat. Answer's coming up. The answer is D. Both B and C, improperly installed, malfunction, or missing ground fault circuit devices, okay, GCIs or GFCIs, and improperly installed appliances. So let's see, other deficiencies are malfunctioning carbon monoxide alarms, fire safety features, smoke alarms, and lack of electrical bonding, ground and bonding on gas piping. So there's quite a few things that they have to report. It doesn't mean they're required to be done, but it has to be reported. So it scares a lot of times buyers because some of these are done on older homes, right? And that doesn't mean, so they're kind of grandfathered in, doesn't mean they required to update everything that they found. All right, number 19. Blank pertains to real property of a deceased person who fails to leave a will. A, community estate. B, inheritance laws. C, law of descent and distribution. Or D, Texas estate laws. Blank pertains to real property of a deceased person who fails to leave a will. Okay, so let's see. I missed somebody, DP Sarge. Thank you for joining us. Yes, the answer is C, law of descent and distribution. So the answer says this state sets forth, which is entitled to the estate of a person who has died without a will. It sets forth the right and liabilities of next of kin and heirs who are entitled to a share of the deceased person's property. If there aren't any heirs, it goes to whom, right? The state, and that is called escheat. Number 20, moving right along. A property sold to a buyer needed repairs which were not stated prior to or during closing. Now, in order to hold the seller responsible for repairs, a buyer must do blank. Do what? A, have proof of the damaged properties. B, find the damages within 30 days of the closing date. C, have proof the selling agent knew of the damages. Or D, proof that the seller withheld material facts regarding the home's condition. So property sold to a buyer needed repairs which were not stated prior to or during closing. In order to hold the seller responsible for repairs, a buyer must do blank. I'll show a message shown by Sarge, and as soon as we answer this one. So what is 20? And yes, the answer is 20D, right? Proof that the seller withheld material facts regarding the home's conditions, right? Because if they provided a seller's disclosure form, then it would have stated in the disclosure form. If the seller didn't provide it in the disclosure form, then the buyer has a case and can take them to court. So here's what Sarge says. It says, huge fan of yours. You helped me pass national and I missed Texas exam by one question. Hey, congratulations, Sarge, and thank you for that support. Thank you for being a fan. Appreciate it. So that's awesome. Josh also on here is about to pass his exam for Texas, right? Both of you are going to pass it. And welcome, Angela. So did I show the answer? 20 is D. Number 21. Oops. Come on, 21. I'm trying to show it. Oh, well. It doesn't show on the top. I can't remove the... Okay, bear with me here as I move around this resolution. Okay, there we go. 21. How does a broker terminate the sponsorship of a sales agent? Broker terminate sponsorship of a sales agent. A, provide written notice to the sales agent. B, provide notice face-to-face to the sales agent and notify Trek. C, a broker cannot terminate the sponsorships. D, notify Trek, who will notify the sales agent. Congratulations, Sarge. Yes, I was listening to Mike Sherrard this morning. Wish you were joining me, but hey, Wolfpack, man, they're awesome. Mike Sherrard is awesome. I think I'm going to call us the Lion Pride, because I have a lion on my banner. Yes, the answer is A. Provide written notice to the sales agent, and vice versa. If the agent is leaving a brokerage, then they send written notice letting them know that they're going to be transferring their license to another broker. So I helped a realtor do that yesterday, moving from one company to EXP. So that's awesome. You've selected the right brokerage, EXP Realty. Yeah, watch his video that he did, that I saw today, but I think he posted it a couple days ago. Number 22. Blank is a form of ownership of property by more than one person. Blank is a form of ownership of property by more than one person. A, joint tenancy. B, sole proprietary. C, tenancy in common. Or D, community property. Wow. And this answer, there could be two right answers, actually. Okay. And it's a form of ownership of property by more than one person. It doesn't give much detail, but there are two actually correct answers. But the correct answer that they have is A, joint tenancy. Okay, so joint tenancy has to meet four conditions, right? T-tip, TTIP, time, title, interest, possession. So they purchased it at the same time. They took the same type of ownership. Okay, it could have been through, took the same title, like either inheritance or bought it through, by financing, but they took title the same way. They have equal interest. In this case, if it's two individuals, it's 50-50. Or if it's four, it's 25, 25, 25, 25. And then possession, TTIP. Possession means they have 100% possession of the property, not just by the amount that they own. Darn it, I forgot to post 21. So the answer is A, joint tenancy. Now, tenancy in common is also more than one person. It's two or more. And joint tenancy is also two or more. But joint tenancy has survivorship, where tenancy in common does not. If you're not familiar with what that means, I highly recommend that you go and study the vocabulary and learn what the four types of ownership are, because there are four types. So let me just share the answer with you, okay? They said joint tenancy, property ownership by two or more people where the tenants have the same interest. Tenant dies, the share passes to the other owners. Well, the question doesn't mention any more detail other than it's a form of ownership of property by more than one person. So actually, A or C are correct, because tenancy in common, okay, is also a form of ownership by more than one person. It is two or more individuals. Joint tenant is two or more individuals. So sometimes these books are not 100% correct. So Joshua says, right, Cindy. So let's see, both. Oh, what did you mean by both, Cindy? Okay, what was 22C? So let me know what you're referring to, Cindy, because I already lost track of which one you are referring to. So Cindy said something about both. Well, what the heck? What the heck? She said both, right? And so Joshua says, Cindy, right. Oh, A and C. Okay, got it. Go back. Correct, A and C. So in my experience, okay, the answers are actually A and C, because both of those are two or more individuals. The question doesn't give enough detail to just select answer number A or letter A. So DP Sarge says tenancy and common and joint tenancy are both ownership of two or more people. Correct. That is absolutely correct, Sarge. And the difference is that tenants and joint tenancy has to meet the four conditions, TTIP, which tenancy in common does not. Joint tenancy also has survivorship. If one of the partners dies, their share goes equally to the other 3 partners if there are 4. In tenancy in common, it goes to whoever they will it to, and they don't have to have equal ownership. Okay, so know those rules. It is a must. Okay. So hey Sarge, when you join, tell my buddy I have a video on here about my BFF, which is Mike Sherrard, right? I think you're joining Mike Sherrard. You could be joining Connor. All right, number 23. So for those of you who don't know, I have a lot of buddies at eXp Realty. So Sarge is joining eXp with Connor, okay? And that's actually Mike Sherrard's sponsor. So I joined with the Dream Team, okay, out of San Antonio, Texas, and Pat Hayes. Awesome groups. Both are awesome groups. All right, number 23. You met them both in Denver, and I will be giving you a big shout out. Trust me. Yes, I haven't met Connor. Okay, but yes, promote this channel, okay, because it's to educate, different than what Mike Sherrard does, but eventually I will be doing some of what Mike Sherrard is doing. And so he says, you're the only one really doing this for Texas. Yes, I've seen some other ones, but not that they focus just on Texas in addition to national. Thank you for that. Yeah, and so give Mike Sherrard a hug and tell Connor that, I also know about him. Okay, I met Mike in Dallas. And let's see, which legal concept, and Cabo San Lucas, which legal concept allows a trespasser to gain legal title over a property from the owner? A, jurisdiction, B, land leaseback, C, adverse possession, or D, nominal consideration. Legal concept allows a trespasser to gain legal title over a property from the owner. Hey, y'all moving right along on this one. Awesome. Yes, it is C, adverse possession. Awesome, awesome. Okay, number 24. Oops. There we go. So did I show the answer? 23. Okay, number 24. Which type of licensee does not have the authorization to practice in Texas, but can collect a commission from a Texas broker? A, Texas sales agent, B, unlicensed broker, C, foreign broker, or D, none of the above? Which type of licensee does not have the authorization to practice in Texas, but can collect commission from a Texas broker? Remember, there's a lot of other countries that we can do business with. No, it is not D, Mallet. The answer is foreign broker. For example, we have 2 borders, right, in Texas. And well, actually in Texas, but the U.S. has Mexico border and Canada border. Either of those can get a commission if they refer a client to a Texas broker. They'll get a percentage, whatever is negotiated, 20%, 25, 50%, depending on how much the realtor they refer it to has to work on it. So, oh, I forgot to post the answer, 24C. Okay, so we have a question. So Joshua says, this was a question on my state exam last week. Oh, great. Yes. So I had a student ask me, on YouTube or Facebook, are these questions identical to the exams? No. And if anybody ever tells you that, they're misleading you, because you don't want to memorize them. You want to learn them. So every exam is different. Every exam, they have hundreds of exams. Okay. So, however, there are many questions that are similar to it, especially the old book that I used that we just finished, the Texas Real Estate Sales Exam 4th edition, that was published in 2006. It's an excellent book. I love that book. And so do a lot of my students that referred it to me. Some of those in the old book might be identical to the exam, but do not expect that. Let's see, what does Sarge say? Wow, I would love help on a few questions also. Yes, huh? I'll pray that you get an easy exam. So this is what Sarge says. I would love help on a few questions also. Got it. All right, number 25. Texas provides buyers with a blank, which allows a buyer to terminate a deal within a certain number of days. A, option period. B, earnest money. C, option fee. Or D, grace period. So Texas provides buyers with a blank, which provides a buyer to terminate a deal within a certain number of days. Okay, okay, others are getting it right. Okay. So there's a cost that goes with it, but there is a other term that it's called in the contract. So it is called the option period. The option fee is what is paid to have that option period given to them. Okay, so very good. So option period can vary. In a fast market, a lot of times they do not, the buyer won't ask for an option. So what they do is they have an inspector ready to go when their offer is accepted, to make sure if they ask for 1 day, or maybe they do the inspection prior to and pay the cost. Because, right, some of the homes were sold for, 20, 30, 40, 100,000 over list price in California. So they've got to be competitive. And sometimes they don't ask for an inspection period, yet they may have an inspector do it, or they ask for 1 day and get it done ASAP. I had to do that for one of my clients, to schedule the inspection prior to and only ask for like a couple days. The option fee is the cost that they pay, and that is also negotiable. Okay. So the option fee can be, $5, $10, $50, $100 per day, however many days. Okay. I typically do, $10 a day on normal types of properties. However, if it is a very expensive property, multi-million-dollar property, and there's multiple offers, a buyer may offer $100 a day or $1,000 a day. Okay. And just ask for 1 or 2 days. They want to be competitive. So you're going to learn a lot in the market, okay, when you're doing the activity, but you want to understand the concepts. And that's what I find a lot of students don't want to do. And part of the concepts is learning the vocabulary, okay? I stress it over and over and over, vocabulary, 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 all right? I want you to pass. I want you to be an awesome, successful realtor. I want to help 1,000 realtors get into real estate, pass their real estate license. I think Mike says he wants to help 1,000 become millionaires. Hey, I want to do that too. Okay. But first I got to help you pass. All right. So, hey, you all, love being here with you. I enjoy this. I enjoy helping you. I'm a giver, but I'm also a receiver. Okay. So let's close the loop. So I give and I ask. Go to my YouTube channel. Tap that subscribe button, click the little bell so you're the first one to get notified anytime I post a new video or go live, and give me a thumbs up. Show me some love and that you want other videos like this. So I'm strategizing and working on doing a little bit different videos so that some of you, don't want to wait a long time, and you're the millennials, right, that want things like this, dun, 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 fast, 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 yet we may not understand the concept that fast, right? And so, okay, let's see. DP Sarge has a question. Go ahead. I'll do my best to answer. Go ahead and type your question. So while he's doing that, I'm also going to be creating, okay, in due time, videos to help you get started with a business. What happens after you pass your exam? What do you do? And try not to spend a lot of money on everything. Lead through revenue. Start generating business. Do the work. Prepare the foundation. Okay. And then start spending money on marketing and other things when you finally have money coming in. Don't spend what you don't have and get your credit cards all, up and going. So it says, if an agent receives funds on a Friday, when do they have to deposit funds in escrow account? Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday? They have 3 business days, okay, to deposit the funds. And sometimes they can be wired, okay? And so that wiring, now title companies provide wiring, and they can be wired to the title companies. The contract on a residential 1 to 4 real estate contract says from the execution date, they have up to 3 days, business days, to deposit the money. So if it's on Friday, you can't do it Saturday and Sunday. So then it'll be, you'll have, from Friday, you'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So by Wednesday, 5 p.m., money has to be deposited. Okay? But again, it can be wired. So 3 days, but do you count the day you receive it? Well, you do, but it's 24 hours later. So you received it on Friday. So 24 hours later, skipping the weekend, would be Monday, 5 o'clock. That's day 1. Tuesday, 5 o'clock is day 2. Wednesday, 5 o'clock is day 3. If it was deposited at 10 o'clock, it doesn't end at 10 o'clock the next day. It ends at 5 o'clock at close of business. In the past, it used to be midnight, okay? But how many title companies are open at midnight? Or realtors? Okay, so the day you receive is day 0, correct? Yes. Some people think, oh, that's day 1. Well, no, that's day 0, and you go 24 hours. And you skip the weekend and holidays. Includes the day you receive it. Yes. So that is day 0. Okay. So from the day you receive it. Okay. But that has to be the executed date. So if both parties came into an agreement today and both did all the signing and were acknowledged, they were notified, and the realtor that last got the notice executed the contract, then the clock starts ticking. Time is of the essence. So from the day that the last realtor executes that document, that contract, the time starts. Not from when you get the money, but when the contract is executed. Got it? Okay, what does TREC require to be in writing to be valid? All contracts, okay? Contract with consideration, that is correct. Consideration does not have to be cash, right? It can be a promissory note. It can be an exchange. Okay, so if it's a promissory note, they can deposit the money later. So to be valid, a contract, it has to be written, okay, in English, has to have a consideration, a start date, an end date, the transactional brokerage, yes, it'll have that information. Sale of residential property, no. That would be an extra document. That would be an addendum that would go with the offer. Okay, so it has to be a promulgated contract or a contract written by an attorney. Okay, signed by both parties, executed in writing, in English, you know, because that is the language in the United States. There are some documents now that are in Spanish, but not everybody is going to understand it. A start and end date and an execution contract for with consideration. Right? Because all contracts have to have a start and end date. So when was it executed? When does it close? Or when does the lease expire? Okay. In writing, consideration, and an start and end date. So it's number one. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, contract with consideration. I'm sorry. I didn't. I thought you were saying those were options that TREC requires. So it is number one, contract with consideration. So let's see. DP Sarge, awesome. This is such a big help. Oh, you're very welcome, Sarge. So it can be a hug, lots of laugh. Thank you, JK. So where does the K come in, Joshua? Joshua Hester Johnson, and then DP Sarge. The question was, when does TREC require it to be in writing? Yes. Anytime. The only time a contract does not require to be in writing is at least less than a year. Otherwise, it must be in writing. So that is the correct answer. But on the options that you had here, it's contract with consideration. Okay, but all contracts, with the exception of a lease less than a year, are required to be in writing. Okay, so that was number one. Yes. Okay, any other questions? You got me now. This is the time to ask. Jeez. Hey, I love you all. It's awesome. I have fun with all of you. And I pray that all of you pass your exam. Remember to affirm. I passed, I passed, I passed. Ask, believe, and receive. All right? They always require signature. Okay, so when both parties come into a mutual agreement in the initial written contract, okay, and when there's a counter offer, there has to be signatures or initials. If it's going back and forth and negotiating, okay, they're going to be initialing certain documents or rewriting the document again. If there's so many in the state of Texas, we can edit the same contract and go back and forth. And sometimes it can get pretty messy, kind of dirty. So some of us realtors will create a new one, because remember, when there's a counter offer, the first offer is not the new one is by novation, right? The old one doesn't exist. It may only have one or two things that change, but still, it's now a new contract, a new agreement that has to be initialed until both parties go back and forth. Then they come into an agreement with all the terms, the dates, and the required information. Then it is all signed and notified, right? Everybody has to be notified, and the last realtor ends up executing it. And now we can deliver it to the title company or to an attorney, because attorneys are also escrow officers. A transactional brokerage, okay, is like a brokerage that you pay per transaction. All right, that's what a transactional brokerage is. We're different. We're a cloud-based brokerage. We don't have a brick and mortar brokerage. So traditional also, so we're different from traditional brokerages, but transactional brokerage is somebody that charges a fee. So DP Sarge, this was huge help, Lillie. I will give big ESP shout when I pass. Awesome. Hey, and let everybody know that needs help passing their real estate exam. And if anybody ends up sending me a question on Messenger or text me or call me, I return all my calls and text messages. If I recommend that you do something, I hope that you're going to do it. Okay. If you want more of my attention, I need to know that you are taking action. Okay. During the study portion, because I want all of you to pass. So don't think that you cannot reach out to me. I say it every time. You are welcome to reach out to me, text me, messenger me, or text me on my phone. It's the quickest way. And I do reply to those questions or requests. So Joshua will pass the state tomorrow. Yes, you will. Awesome. Okay, so again, remember, I'm also a realtor. I'm not just a tutor or a teacher. I actually practice real estate. I closed one last week. Okay, a rental. Don't typically do rentals, but it's a repeat client. So I am also with eXp Realty. In my eyes, okay, I'm biased. I love multiple streams of income. So eXp provides that, multiple streams of income, many ways to make money. And so it's one reason I moved from my ex-broker, the red one, to eXp during 2020 when we had major COVID situation. So I started doing a lot of YouTube videos at that point, or I created my first YouTube channel in April of 2020, which is Living in San Antonio, Texas. And then I created this about 16 months ago, 17 months ago, okay, November of 2020 also. So, but I've been doing this for years, okay, for almost 9 years, the tutoring. I've grown, I've learned, okay, and I learned from you. So if you have ideas on how I can improve my tutoring on here that can better help you, please, please, I beg you, comment and let me know what would work better. Okay, so let's say, so Sarge tells Joshua, yeah, pass that test. And then also, eXp is insane. Seems like the future. It is the future. You know, when I grew up, I used to watch Lost in Space, Star Trek, Stargate, the Jetsons, you know, flying cars and everything, computers. And I used to tell people, that's going to be us in the future. People say, yeah, Lillie, you're crazy. Yeah, right. That's why I'm Wild Lillie Hendy, okay? Dominguez, that's my dad's name. Hendy is my mom. But that's a lot of names. So I'm the wild child, right? I've got high energy. I have fun. I love life. And I love multiple streams of income. And, you know, you've got to go who's going to help you, who's going to provide education, technology, and what is the leading technology. So, right, you know, we've got Elon Musk going to the moon, right? You know, out of Boca Chica in South Texas. And then electric cars and flying cars are already available. So heck, yeah. Don't you want to be with leading technology? Well, not everybody likes technology. I do, because I'm a retired engineer. Okay. And I used to like to take things apart and put them back together as a kid. So that's my nutty self. I'm a nerd. I'm a little brainiac. Okay. So anyway, so remember, I'm also looking for individuals to join me at eXp, and I will mentor you. I will help you. Don't think I don't have the time to help you, okay? I am here to help. However, I'll want you to perform. I'll want you to do it. Oh, I got criticized for pointing, okay? It's just I talk with my hands, all right? All right, so then DP Sarge says one thing, leaving insurance industry for eXp. Oh, awesome. So you already know how to sell, how to work with people, and how to take care of the client. And the client comes first. Good for you, Sarge. All right, y'all. So this is Agent Prep, YouTube Agent Prep, Facebook Agent Prep with Wild Lillie Hendy. Thank you for attending tonight. We did national questions and state questions, and I wish you the best in preparing and passing. So remember to subscribe to this channel. Tap that subscribe button, click that little bell, and tap the thumbs up, okay? There's quite a few on you on here, and I don't see that many thumbs up, so send me some love. All right, y'all. Until next time, catch you later. Next time will be Saturday.